So, like I promised in the last video, I will feature an on-event ship this time, and well, the time has come, and with this, we would be featuring the Centaur, finally a British ship again, since I've been missing them already. I hope I don't get age restricted with this guide, since the outfits of Centaur are, well, really interesting. Stop staring at her. The Centaur is a British carrier. Who would have expected that, with being overly stupid for what it is supposed to be, namely a light carrier, but the light in quotation marks. A ship that was supposed to have light carrier statistics, but was so different that it forgot what it was supposed to be, and to make her extra retarded she also got the newest technology with an angled fight deck. To make everything more complicated for the crew. So complicated that it took 9 years for her to get commissioned, since she got billed, and since this wasn't enough to make her look bad, after another 9 years so got decommissioned and later scrapped. Certainly a great waste of money. But after complaining about her so much, because of her history at what she is good at, well, this is pretty easy to answer. Pretty much everything. Centaur is especially good at everything with doing a lot of damage and giving you spicy air support, but the best thing about her is that she is an on-event ship, allowing every potato of you to get her right now, as long you have enough cubes to waste, or you simply use your mom's credit card. This is always a good choice. Maybe you can even spend enough money to buy her some clothes, since she totally needs it. So let's start to talk about the characteristics. First, talking about Centaur's survivability, which is made out of her health pool, evasion and A*RMOR class, but don't forget the historical luck stat. As for her HP, she has one of the best hit point pools in the game, exceeding many normal carrier with around 6600 HP. Nobody knows who had the idea giving a light carrier so much health, but in addition to being a light CV, she also gets a really good evasion stat at a whopping 70 points, and considering the medium armor with a good luck stat, it makes her surprisingly tanky, making me wonder what Yosta was drinking while balancing this ship. Well, maybe it has something to do with wargaming peeking in on them. But to make this even more confusing and interesting at the same time, we're going to mention her aviation, and well, there is no way you can tell me that she is really a light carrier by stats, allowing her to grab once again the top spots in the spreadsheet. Not many carriers have a base aviation stat of 400, but for some reason this magical light carrier has everything it needs. But we don't stop here because also have a reload stat, and we know what that means. Fast plane takeoff. Yes, she has pretty good reload stats, actually normal to be fair, nothing special. We closely get to the end with the stats, since now we have her anti-air stat, and this is where things get rather unique. Almost all light carriers have a lack of payload, since they normally have an AA gun on the third slot, which obviously decreases the damage output by quite a lot. But this is where Centaur shines. Instead of having an anti-air guns, she gets double fighters and one torpedo bomber. So her AA is not totally garbage by that, but more in the average. But this is what makes this ship so stupidly overpowered for a light CV, the double fighter combo. But to that later. And before we start talking about the skills, it's worth mentioning that she has anti-submarine warfare, one of the best of all the CV. Might be worth mentioning for the people that are actually interested in submarines. After boring you to death with stupid and silly stat comparisons, let's start with the fun part, the perks. And I can tell you that you will like this quite a lot, since Centaur is a balanced light carrier as we already found it, and by that let's start with her first out of 2 perks, namely Swordfish's attack. Yeah, this name brings some good memories back about the Bismarck documentary I watched a while ago. Anyway, you do increase damage to enemy battleships by 10%. In addition to that, you also launch additional Swordfish torpedo bombers, which reduce the effective speed of ships by 40% for 6 seconds. This perk sounds pretty average, nothing really impressive by itself, until you see how many freaking torpedo planes there arrive. I'm not even joking. These planes are really the main focus of your damage. Centaur is a late game ship. The longer the battle goes, the faster she overtakes all the other ships from the fleet. Well, this is one of Centaur's perk. The next would be airspace dominance, which gives you 15% air power and 10% firepower for your main fleet for 8 seconds after you launched an air attack. So you can time it with your ships to deal additional damage, which is pretty spicy, not gonna lie. but all of this will not help you as long you don't have the right equipment. So let's check that out. As for the fighter, you got really a lot of variety. Well, it depends more on what you have, but let's say you are more or less good into the game. For that you take yourself the Sea Fang fighters, since they are pretty easy to obtain and have good damage output. But a choice that you might consider is the Vought Corsair form, the core exchange. It is not by much better, but you get an AA increase by 5% for 8 seconds when they get launched, so you get more anti-air for a short period of time. If you have better planes, be sure to take them. For the torpedo bomber there is one simple choice, just take Barracudas. There is really not much to talk about because they are the best planes for the price, and to their job for that as well. And now the auxiliary equipment. I mean, we already know where this is going, since CV equipment is pretty much always the same, but there are obviously some exceptions, but Centaur isn't one. So silly you will take double steam catapult to boost the aviation and HP a little, and there you have your typical carrier build again. This was the equipment from my side. Now let's quickly summarize what makes Centaur such a great carrier. She has good damage output, is pretty tanky for a light carrier, and is a super rare CV everyone can get. Mostly upsides for me. She is a really good ship for late game, and I can recommend her for everyone. She will help you a lot. Perfect for boss fleet. And I dare people writing in the comments why the gameplay in the background is farming in a mob fleet. I needed gameplay, okay. I had some stress with this video. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you even noticed the small changes I did in the script. So don't forget to share the video, and until next time, you're Nick. Finally I can play Hearts of Iron 4 again.